don't necessarily cook on time, cook on temp and color. Things like that is a big thing that I learned.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know who came up with the 3-2-1. They destroyed a lot of people. They messed a lot of people up with that. Who was the first?
Yep.
I don't know who the first person that started that, but
Hey, I fell into that trap. I'll admit it. For a long time, I thought that was the
I did too when when I first started doing it, and I was like, okay, this ain't right.
They gon' have barbecue. They gon' have barbecue. They gon' have barbecue. They gon' have barbecue. Get your barbecue on. Get your barbecue on. Get your barbecue.
Welcome to the BBQ Therapy podcast. My name is Tavis Bryant of Yago Ham Barbecue. Have you ever stood around a smoker or a grill and felt the world fade away? Now that's barbecue therapy. Welcome to another episode of the BBQ Therapy podcast. I am your host, Tavis Bryant, and today we have someone who's been turning his backyard passion into a full-blown barbecue brand. Joining us is Bob Harvey of Big Daddy's Barbecue Pit. Bob, thank you for joining us on the show. I got one rule: make yourself at home. I have no sponsors, so speak freely and enjoy yourself.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on here and tell a little bit of backstory about Big Daddy's Barbecue Pit and our vision on how we want to do things going forward.
All right, no problem, no problem. All right, take us back to Pennsylvania. You mentioned about hot dogs and burgers mostly when it considered barbecue. When did you first run across something like ribs or pulled pork? Did y'all sprinkle that in, or you never?
I grew up I was the youngest of eight.
Oh wow.
So there was a lot of meat and potatoes meals when we had a picnic or a barbecue that you call it down here. There was a lot of hamburgers and hot dogs and potato salad, macaroni salad. It wasn't until we moved to Georgia in 2011, but it wasn't until about 2009 that I'm aware of the first barbecue restaurant opening in a town I grew up in.
Wow.
So I knew of it. Me and my buddies would get together and had an excuse to maybe drink some beer and burn some meat up, is what it amounted to a lot of times. But the traditional low and slow barbecue that down here and the compassion people or how passionate people are for it, I didn't see it where I grew up there.
Oh, okay. Now you shared that you don't consider yourself a traditional competition pitmaster, but you have a deep passion for cooking that started back before competition. Could you talk a little bit about your early influence? Was it your parents' past cooking skills, or did you learn from somewhere else?
Yeah, a lot of it was my parents. My mom growing up was the cook during the week,
Mm.
and there was always a cooked meal on the table at 5 o'clock. If you weren't there, you didn't eat. I was there every day. And then on the weekends, my dad did a lot of the cooking. And being off from school on the weekends, I hung out in the kitchen a lot and watched him. He would cook big pots of soup or spaghetti sauce, homemade meatballs, things like that. Listening to Charlie Pride on an 8 track. That's really where my influence from cooking came from. And really, for a big part of my life, from probably 10, 11 years old until I moved to Georgia, every year we would make homemade sauerkraut. It was a Pennsylvania Dutch tradition. And we'd make with my grandmother sometimes up to 50 gallons worth of sauerkraut every year and for the family. And we
Wow.
would just give it away. So there was a lot of tradition with that. There was a lot of cooking, like I said, my mom during the week, but and my dad, they were the main influences on me cooking early in my life.
Okay, okay. So when you moved to Georgia, I guess it was an eye-opening experience as far as when it came to barbecue. How did you go from the early days of the burgers and dogs to the appreciation of slow smoking and traditional barbecue when you introduced to it?
That was when we moved down here, it was right around the time of barbecue pitmasters, which I was I would watch religiously over. And that's what really got my interest. The guys on there like Myron Mixon and Robbie Royal and David Bosca, and you watch week after week. And then I started messing around a little bit in the backyard here with different smokers, whether it's a Weber Smoky Mountain at first or Weber Kettle, and just really starting to learn. This was even really before really YouTube took off, and you had that to where you could go and look something up. But really, my passion started with those barbecue pit masters, the television series.
Yeah, back in the day, I didn't when it was on. I guess I don't think I had the channel. I used to catch it here and there, but I think when COVID hit and then Discovery Plus came out, it was jackpot because I was stuck in the house. So
Yep.
it was time to start playing then and figuring out. But still, then I didn't know barbecue competitions existed at all until later on. But I was
Yeah.
back there playing around, and that's when I also ran across a pellet grill because I've never seen a pellet grill until I went to somebody's house during COVID and saw they had one. I'm looking at what is this? And then when they got a stimulus check, I was like, I'm gonna get me one. It made life
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah. Yeah. I transitioned through a whole bunch of different smokers, and I look back on how many I've probably had. If I had a nickel for every one of them. But yeah, that's where it really started, was with the barbecue pit masters. And like I said, I was completely into that series.
Yeah, yeah. So once you got to Georgia, you said you started tweaking recipes and playing with different smokers and making things your own. What was that process? Were you getting recipes from somewhere and just practicing them or making your own? And what type of different smokers were you using back then?
Back then, it was like a Weber Smoky Mountain. I think it was called a Brinkman. It had a little water pan in between the fire pot and the grate, and then a Weber kettle. And it was really just what I was picking up from watching those shows. Because, like I said before, moving down here, and at that point, we were new to the area. The friends we had at the time, we were meeting through our kids for sports or school activities.
Mhm.
So a lot of the weekends were spent just messing around and figuring things out as I went. So it obviously took a long time because I'm still trying to figure it out.
It seems like you're doing a good job to me. All right. And you said Big Daddy's Barbecue Pit officially came to life with help of your friends and your wife. What were the roles of the people that helped bring it to life and get it started?
But it really started right around COVID. My wife and I have always been entertainers at our home. We love to feed people. My wife is an excellent cook herself. So we were always having people over at the pool, hanging out. And then COVID hit, and we were all kind of consolidated into our different areas for a time there. And we still continued to have some friends over, which was Bill and Dorothy, who were friends we had both moved into the same neighborhood from another neighborhood. We stayed in contact and everything. And Bill's a very tech savvy guy. And you got to be making YouTube videos of all this cooking you're doing. And I wasn't that's outside my comfort zone. And I wasn't one right away to do it. But finally, after a while, we did a couple on a homemade drum that I had made, a drum smoker. And it went pretty well, we thought. And then it was really me and my wife coming up with the recipes. Dorothy did a lot of the social media stuff, and Bill, he's still a very big part of it. He's doing all the filming, the editing. He has a lot of great ideas when we're doing different shots or whatever in the yard with the cooking.
Mhm.
So it's really been a team effort getting it rolling and trying to keep it rolling.
Okay, okay. You're doing a good job. Your recipes and videos are a big part of your brand. You have, last time I checked, you had 247 videos on YouTube. What kind of content do you enjoy creating, and what can people expect when they come to your channel, as well as your website also, because I see you have a lot of recipes on there also.
Yeah, I'm even though the title of the channel is Big Daddy's Barbecue Pit, ironically that we were sitting around thinking about what could we name it. Probably about a year or two prior, one of my sisters from Pennsylvania sent me down a sign, and it looked like something you would buy in like a knick-knack store or an antique store. And it said, Big Daddy's Barbecue Pit, get you some. And there's a character on there. I said, let's just name it that. And that's really where it stuck. But when you come to my channel, you're really seeing a lot of home cooking. I do a little bit of everything. I know not everybody wants to go out and cook in their yard or has a smoker. So I really try to mix it up. I don't necessarily want to be a me too and follow the trends that you see what videos are doing good. That could be detrimental to me. I don't know, but I want to keep it to where people can go there and find anything from how to do a brisket on a pellet smoker to how to make stuffed shells. That sort of thing is really how I've always envisioned it, because really a lot of my knowledge of cooking goes back to in the kitchen. It's not out in front of the smoker.
Yeah, yeah, and it's definitely good because you can reach more people being versatile like that. Whether you can, because everybody ain't gonna be able to cook on the grill every day, but if you teach them
Right.
something in the kitchen, they can practice that also, as well as practice whatever on the grill, and it goes for a variety of people, whether male, female, and it spans the globe. So it's definitely good to be versatile like that.
Yeah, a lot of the recipes, if you wanted to cook them out on the grill today, especially with like pellet smokers, you could bake most anything in those. So it, you could probably we have a smoked meatloaf recipe. Meatloaf was like a staple growing up when I was a kid. I thought, let's do it on the pellet smoker, and it's been one of our best videos.
Oh, cool.
So something that simple. So you could do it in the oven, or you could do it on the pellet smoker.
And what's y'all process like when it's y'all planning to cook? Do y'all rehearse it a couple times or script it, or you just go?
Yeah, hopefully, if you watch it, it appears to be a little scripted, but sometimes I tell you, the process of it is really recipes we enjoy. Sometimes it's a tweak to something that we have been doing that we do on video,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really something. Usually, if I'm working on a recipe, by the time I shoot the video, although most all the time it's very good, I'm done eating it because I'm usually practicing it and trying to get it just right a few times before that.
Okay.
It's there is more to it, and it's just not buying the stuff one time for that video.
Yeah.
If you're practicing ribs, I may have done that 3 or 4 times before I got to that video to shoot the video. So it's a process. Some of them come quicker than others.
Mm-hmm.
There's some weeks when I know we're going to be filming that I'm sitting there thinking, man, what can I make that's going to get that's going to pique their interest? That's really the toughest part of it.
Yeah, yeah. And what has been the most unexpected challenge of building a YouTube page, a channel?
The biggest challenge, really, we look at all kinds of analytics week over week, and it's really getting folks to hit the subscribe button. We see a lot of traffic on our channel, and they're first time viewers, and it well outnumbers our sub views.
Mm-hmm.
And just if they'd hit that subscribe button. And we're trying a few different things during the video to try to make sure they hit it. And I'm guilty of it too. I've looked at a lot of YouTube
Yeah.
channels that I haven't subscribed to. So I understand that a lot of times people are looking for something one time, but you have to be able to get them to hit that subscribe button when they're on your channel. And that tends to be the toughest part of it.
You're definitely true. I'm learning that now. Because I've done that. So I'd watch a bunch of somebody's video and then realize, okay, I haven't subscribed to them, but I'm watching all these videos, and then
Yep.
go back and hit it. But it's definitely my thing is it's just like social media. If you go and if I post something, advertising something, and you like it, why not go and listen to it or watch it and give it a chance? You just liking
Yep.
it just to like it and not giving it a chance to listen to it. I was like, I understand that you got something that
Yep.
got 50 likes and not that many listens or something like that. But I'm like, that's not support. That's not supporting somebody. You got to give it a chance before you poo it.
Yep.
Well, just check it out. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Everything is not for everybody, but there's somebody else out there for you. But at least give it a chance before you knock it down. But and at least try to watch a whole video or something like that before
Right.
you, because you don't know what may catch your attention or what's meant for you or something that it may pique your interest in it. It's definitely a, I don't know. YouTube is. I thought it was simple until I started playing around with it. I was like, this ain't.
It's a grind. It is truly a grind. But
Exactly. Then
you
you
just
got,
got to. My main thing, the main thing is being consistent.
yeah, yeah,
You know?
and definitely doing that. And I guess the happening thing is the shorts now. You got to do the shorts and catch people's attention, and it's like just a
Yep.
lot. It's definitely a whole process, and it's not as easy as people think. Just throwing videos on there and be done with it, because there's behind the scenes stuff. Is prepping the recipes that you have to do. There's the editing that goes into it. Downloading is a whole different thing, because sometimes it takes a while to download these videos on here, and
Oh yeah.
it's worded. You got to word it right, the title and hashtags and all this stuff, and it's just a whole process. And you got to do your homework before you get into this stuff, and not think it's easy and anybody can do it, because it's a grind. Just
Oh yeah.
being consistent, because you've got 200 and almost 250 videos. That's, when did y'all start? What year y'all started?
We started in, I believe it was 2020.
So in 5 years, y'all been grinding.
It's 50 videos a year. You
Yeah.
know, that's a lot of work. We start the week and with an idea and kind of put it on paper what we're going to do. And then usually we film Sundays, and a lot of times we'll film anywhere between 2 and 4 videos.
Whew.
And then, and Bill's handling all the filming part of it. I've done a little bit here and there on my own on the side during the week to try to catch some content there. But then he takes it from there and does all the editing for the video and making it look presentable and making sure the sound's right and all that. And then it comes back to me and I do a review of it to make sure that I hit all the points that I wanted to. And then I'll do a write up for the video with the recipe. And then that'll be the one we upload for the week. It starts the week before, we film Sunday, and then it continues to usually Wednesday. We have what we want to launch on Thursday.
Wow.
So
As I said, it's a process. So
yeah,
definitely everybody out there that's thinking it's easy, it's not as easy as you think. Your website is loaded with recipes. Do you have a favorite recipe that you love to point out to people? One that kind of tells a story or anything like that?
I would say there's a video on there that I thought for sure would get a lot more traction, but it's a homemade Salisbury steak with a mushroom gravy, and I believe there's mashed potatoes, homemade mashed potatoes. So it goes back to my roots growing up of a good, hearty, home cooked meal.
Mm-hmm.
That one's one of my favorites. The stuffed shell recipe that's on there is one of my sister's recipes. There's a lot of things on there that I've gotten from my siblings that they shared with me, but a lot of the home cooked. And there's some good rib recipes on there we've done, and along with some pulled pork and things like that. But really, that Salisbury steak video to me, I could eat that probably twice a week.
I'm a pork chop person. I seen you had some videos with the steak princess. How did you run across from her?
That's going to be a good lead in to the comp side. We met them through Bill and Dorothy. That's actually their cousin.
Oh.
And it's Russell and Karen Wright, and Riley Wright's a steak princess. And the way it started was I was buying rubs and stuff, and they had mentioned, hey, you got to try. She's winning steak contests with this stuff, and they do barbecue. And I was like, let's try it. And we got some, and it's excellent product. I use the Sweet Rapture, Steak Princess Barbecue Sweet Rapture, which is really a traditional sweet barbecue rub. Great color. Her Beauty and the Beef is excellent on brisket, steak. And then she has a Cajun and a Fiesta rub that are also very good.
Mm-hmm.
But we met them through Bill and Dorothy, and that's what kind of spurred me into the competition side. And that was probably, I'm thinking it was 2022
Okay.
is when that started. Russell has really been a good mentor for me. That year he wanted to cook the GBA's big contest. One of their big contests every year is the Dock Holiday in Griffin, and he was cooking it. It's near his hometown, and he's, if you want to try barbecue, you're more than welcome to join me for the weekend. That got me hooked, and they are really more focused on like SCA and KCBS, and I really enjoyed the GBA, and I really enjoyed cooking rib, shoulder, and loin. So that just stuck. And that's really how we met. We hang out with them. She's came up and shot some videos, like you mentioned, with me. But yeah, they're great friends. I can bounce anything off of them. Once in a while, they'll come help us at a contest. But yeah, that's how that came about. That relationship was through starting the channel.
Yeah, I saw she be having articles in the barbecue news magazine that I get, and I think I bought some of her seasoning at the, I guess, Atlanta barbecue store competition. I had bought some of her rub, so I see that y'all doing things together. And plus, I seen she was just at the NASCAR race because I was out there with the Blues. I was actually there with the Blues Hall. He invited me out there down there in Hampton. She was down
I
there.
bet that was a blast.
That was my first time going. Most of the time they usually have the fair there, and I usually go, but I've never been to a NASCAR, and there was so many people there. I was like, wow. But it was cool though. It was a cool experience because they were out there just promoting the brand. They were giving sample bottles of the sauce, as well as they cooked some of the sausage that he just brought out and handing that out, as well as the steak. And it was a cool atmosphere because most people probably think I'm crazy because I was out there handing it out with them, and as well as just handing out samples and stuff. But I told them it's an experience. You never know what you'll learn going to do stuff like that. Just being around people, and it shows you, if you got your own business, it shows you how to promote, and just, you never know what you're going to learn if you don't take that chance and get out there and do it. I'm like, it was work, it was hot, but it was fun, it was enjoyable, and just to see people's faces and stuff getting excited about barbecue, like we excited about barbecue, it was enjoyable. And
yeah, they're great ambassadors for the sport. They really are.
exactly, and they've been so welcoming to me. I have no choice. I mean, get to go help you. You came on the podcast. I'm going to show my thanks. I know a lot of people try to ask more from him than help him. So I'm like, hey, it doesn't. I'm gonna get my hands dirty for you. It doesn't. Everybody don't want something from
Yeah,
you.
that's,
So
you know,
I'll help you. I don't mind because I'm gonna learn something in the process. Like I said, give me the fishing pole. You can have the fish. I want to learn to fish on my own, so I can
yep.
sit back, watch, see what he do, or see what the other people do and how they promote. And hey, I'm taking notes. So if I have a company, I'll be able to do the same thing.
Right. I completely understand that.
Before we go to the comp, for backyard cooks, what's one thing you think that people are overthinking and overlooking when it comes to backyard cooking?
The biggest thing I've learned is relying too much on time or going by time too much. The big thing with the 3-2-1 method I'll bring up in ribs, to me, it's time. It doesn't need to take that long. I prefer it to take, I'm a low and slow cook on the competition side, but I've been messing around a little bit, cooking things faster, particularly at home, just to try new things. But I think that's a lot of it. And just take your time and understand the craft and try to get, most everybody I've met has always been very helpful to me if I would have questions or whatever. But if it was me, it would be, don't necessarily cook on time, cook on temp and color. Things like that is a big thing that I learned.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know who came up with the 3-2-1. They destroyed a lot of people. They messed a lot of people up with that. Who was the
Yep.
first? I don't know who the first person that started that, but
Hey, I fell into that trap. I'll admit it. For a long time, I thought that was the
I did too when when I first started doing it, and I was like, okay, this ain't right. Okay, let's move into the comp scene. Right now, you content create, and you compete as well as you got a home life and you got a full-time job. How do you
Right.
balance? How do you balance all that?
I got a great wife. That's
Hey,
she
I
lets me
hear
balance it and helps me.
you.
It's not easy, and that's really why I prefer cooking GBA because it typically they're within 3 hours. Now, there's a lot of other sanctioning bodies that have comps close, but the GBA season tends to be anywhere between, since I've been cooking GBA, between 10 and 15 events a year, which is manageable. You typically during the when we're competing, which right now GBA is on a break. They take a break in mid-May to the end of August. So our next contest will be in Sylvester at the end of August. So now's really the time for me to get a lot of content created and get ahead a little bit. I'm already thinking about what are we going to put out in the fall,
Mhm.
things like that. But it's not easy to try to keep everything going at once. I feel like sometimes you're going in 10 different directions, but at the end of the day, I love to cook. It's something I'm going to be doing on the weekend anyway.
Mhm.
So whether it's at a contest or I'm filming content or I'm just at home cooking for myself, but it's a balancing act. This little break through summer's been good so far.
I hear that because I got a feeling it's gonna be hot.
Yeah, yeah.
But are you in the north or south part of Georgia?
I'm in the North Georgia, up by Lake Lanier.
Oh, I'm in Stone Mountain, so
Yeah, we're not far apart.
that's why I'm a judge for GBA until I start competing. Once my daughter get up in age, I'm gonna start competing. But I'm a judge, and everything up here I'll judge. But sometimes it's a grind going way down there.
Yeah.
So
It's,
definitely,
some of them, I think the furthest we've been away is like 4 hours, and that's Donaldsonville, which is typically the farthest contest away.
yeah, it's a ride because when I went down there for the things I was like the judging class and Robbie class and Myron class, and I'm riding by myself in the long street, and I was like, oh my goodness, I was like, I had to think this over again. But for those that don't know, I met Bob at Robbie Royal's cooking class. How did you come in contact with Robbie? Through competition or?
Originally, I was doing a SCA event at the Shed
Oh,
down in Ocean Springs. They have a huge contest down there. I think it's in January every year, January, February, something like that. And I was down there with Russell and Karen and Riley from Steak Princess. And Robbie was like, I guess, a celebrity judge or whatever. And Karen and Russell knew him, of course, through GBA, and I think everybody knows him from Barbecue Pit Masters. And he was always somebody I wanted to meet. And we met there, and then that year is when I cooked the first GBA event with Russell, and then from there, Michelle and I started competing on our own. But that's how I met Robbie. I took his class in I took his class the year before you did,
oh,
and then we became with competing and everything with GBA. We got to be friends, and we offered to go down and help him at that next class that you were at.
oh
And we
wow.
were down there just helping out in the kitchen any way we could. But all great people, all the folks that we compete with in GBA have been great. They're like our second family. But that's how I met him. Was at actually an SCA event down
That's
in
funny.
Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
And surprisingly, it's amazing that people might think, oh, he might not talk to me or anything, but they just as regular people and just as friendly. And hey, come on, take a
Oh,
picture with the trophy and all this. You'd be like,
yep.
wow.
Oh yeah, very down to earth. I, I still think back to watching Barbecue Pit Masters and some of the folks that I met that were on there. If you would have told me back when I was watching those shows that I'd be cooking with them, because Michelle and I helped out Robbie the last couple of years at the Big Pig Jig on the Rescue Smokers team,
Mhm.
or competing against them, I would have told them, "You're crazy." It's just weird how that all worked out, and we've been able to meet some of those folks.
Yeah, people are nice, friendly, and off the chain barbecue. I met them at the class, and then
Yep.
coincidentally, I went to Chris Schaefer's class in Illinois, and they were up there. And then they were like, "Hey, come on in the truck, come in the truck." So during the Sip and Swine, they allowed me to come in and watch and then see how it operates and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, most people, I was like, these people friendly. I was like, this is
Oh yeah.
amazing during the competition. So,
Yeah. Chuck and Carrie are both great people, and Chuck's been cooking KCBS now. You mentioned the Sip and Swine, and
hmm
he does a couple. They'll do a couple GBA events. We still talk, and I just had talked to him last week, and it's just you stay friends with folks. Usually, if I go to a KCBS contest, some of my buddies are cooking, I'll stop in their trailer and see them. And but you're right, great folks, and everybody I've met has been like that in GBA.
exactly. Like I said, I brag on barbecue people all the time. Like some of them are better than people you see every day. They'll give you the shirt off their back to help
Oh
you,
yeah,
whether it's comp or outside of a comp. They're just friendly and helpful and inviting and answer any questions that you have. No hiding, no anything. Just
no,
like I said, and I enjoy that, and that's why I say I don't mind going to help somebody if they need help or anything like that because people showed that to me. I definitely love that, and I love helping people also understand stuff that it took me a while to find the answer for to make it easier on them. That's the main reason why I started the podcast to help people learn quicker than having to search a million YouTubes all over the internet back in the day, like I was trying to figure out, okay, what's the starting point of this? And
yeah, yeah. You asked me about kind of what the eye opener was in the backyard or advice. Robbie's class, to me, the techniques that he's using more than the recipes help me. Some of the things, a lot of things he does that he teaches in that class, I still do. I haven't changed. And that's what I practice with. So to me, a lot of those classes are more about the technique than the recipe themselves, because the recipe a lot of times is going to change with the judges, the taste, or whatever. But the techniques, of how they're doing things, whether it's trimming a butt or injecting a loin or whatever,
mhm.
those are really the big takeaways from those classes. I would recommend his class to anybody.
Yeah, definitely. I recommend it also for anybody who can get to it because you get he doing stuff that other people don't do. You get a whole booklet with pictures and information in it to take with you, and he tell you each organization instead of just one organization, depending on what you want to cook for, and it's friendly. It feeds you good.
Oh yeah, we ain't gonna do it.
But it's definitely a fun class, a welcoming class. And like I tell everybody that most of the time I'm the only black guy in the class, but you can't tell because I feel like one of the group and it's not that
Oh yeah,
feeling awkward or anything like that. It's just like everybody just shooting the breeze, having
yep,
fun. And like when I met you, hey, you need anything? Hey, hit me up. So I was like,
yep,
hey, let me hit Bob up and tell him come on the podcast. Popped in my head. I was like, let me hit him up. So I was like, yeah, get him on here, and get Robbie on here, and just enjoy and hear their stories and let everybody experience what I experienced when I went down there. So let's talk about the competition. You're actively competing. How is it going against Myron and Robbie in competitions and stuff like that?
it's at first it was surreal because, like I told you, I would never guess watching barbecue pitmasters that I'd meet half these people, let alone compete against them. It's a lot of fun because you're, particularly in GBA, you're coming up against very good pork cooks every week, and it's a stacked field at every contest you go to. Everybody's very good at the craft,
Mm-hmm.
and they're usually on point, particularly at the big contests. But to me, it's I enjoy it. It was a little intimidating at first, particularly if they walk up to your trailer and you're in the middle doing something and they kind of, they're like, What's he got to make a face or something? Like, what's he trying to do with that piece of meat? But I would say it's surreal and intimidating, but at the same time, they're so welcoming and open that they make you feel completely comfortable and part of the group.
Yeah, and then try to whoop you behind.
Yeah, sure. Chuck told me one time, if you're not going there to beat the best person at the contest, then you might as well not show up.
Exactly.
You want to go there to win. We're all friends, but we're all competitors as well.
Exactly. But I got to give Robbie his props. That nigga, he be on a whole nother level. He on a whole nother level. And people try to downplay how good Georgia barbecue people are. I would put us up against some of the other people in the other states as far as what we have here and as well as what we attract to our state from other states as far as coming and compete. But just Robbie and Myron alone and all the other people here, they try to downplay it, but we got some bad people here.
Oh yeah, there's at every GBA event, there's any team that goes there. There's some very good cooks that are there every week. It's a lot tougher than I think it gets credit for GBA because there are some excellent cooks, all of which I look up to. Whenever they can give me a little tip or whatever, throw me a little breadcrumb, I try to take it and work it to my advantage. Most everybody there, if you need something, if you need help with something, they're going to be more than happy to help you. If, of course, they're not in the middle of building a box or whatnot. I mean, ask them,
Hello. Get out. All right. You have a motto that says, make it yours and make it fun. Tell us what that phrase means to you and why it's important.
That really goes back to the channel. To me, cooking's fun. I think it should be fun for everyone. I think we need to get the young ones in the kitchen. I'm always trying to get my youngest daughter to help me cook. So you want it to be fun, but anything I put out there may be something in the recipe somebody doesn't care for. Somebody don't like mushrooms in their gravy. Make it your own.
Mm-hmm.
If you want something a little more spicy, add what you want to it. It's really just a base recipe that can be tweaked. Mm-hmm. And that's where that came from. Make it your own, make it fun. If there's another flavor profile or whatever it is you want to try that you're cooking, do it. That makes what being in the kitchen fun because it's your canvas.
Exactly.
And you could do whatever you want with those ribs or whatever. But yeah, that's where that came from.
Okay. And finally, if someone's listening who loves barbecue but hasn't taken the leap into cooking or competing or sharing what they do, what advice would you give them?
Practice. Yeah. And on the competition side, if you're going to practice, I always practice. My advice would be to practice what you're cooking on in a competition and practice the same meat. So if I'm buying a brand of meat to compete with, I would recommend practicing with that same brand, just so your whole process is consistent. On the influencer or the social media side, I would say, is be consistent, be yourself, and have fun with it. Don't take it so serious. Sometimes I do that. I'll let some things slip in the video, and I'll be like, I'll take that out. When it'd probably show a different side of me if I would have left it in. But I try to keep everything, I don't want to say family friendly, but I'm always concerned who's going to see this. It could be my grandkids. It could be my great grandkids, however long it's out there. But no, just be consistent and have fun with it.
Exactly. I agree with that because when doing the podcast, I'm not a podcast host. I'm just a guy with a podcast. I'm just gonna be I'm just gonna be myself and that's why I say speak freely because I'm not gonna be all super proper and all that. I live in Georgia, so I'm be talking country and it is what it is. And that's how you have fun. Just be yourself and not trying to. However you act, somebody will like it, and somebody may not like it, but a lot of people will like it. So.
Oh yeah. And if people are thinking about getting into the competition thing and they're nervous or whatever, there's nothing. We've met, like I said before, friends. We'll be friends with for the lifetime. And I don't want to say we didn't expect to but we didn't know going into it, man, these people, and you're checking up on them, you're texting them. I'm in a group chat every day with Scott, Kenny, Chris, and Keith that I compete against every weekend, or every weekend we have a comp in GBA from their cook teams. And we're just chatting back and forth about whether it's sports or cooking or the next contest that's coming up. So you're going to meet a lot of good people. You're going to make some really good friends. And all of them, my experience has been, they're all willing to help you in any way they can. At the end of the day, a lot of these guys are going to tell you exactly what they're doing. You still got to cook it.
Exactly.
You still got to make it happen with whatever smoker or cooking device you're using at that competition.
Yeah, and my advice to people is don't go into it looking to get information. They're good people. Go in to make connections, make friends, and find out how great these people are. You can get the information. They'll give you the information. There's no problem, but without even asking. But the thing is, make those connections. You'll have friends for a lifetime, and that's pretty much what it's all about. You go and compete against each other, but it's like a gigantic family. You're just meeting more people, and more people adding on, and more people adding on, and it's like a
Yep.
big family.
Oh yeah, it is. And whether it's getting together for lunch or dinner at a comp with the whole group of people, that's very common. Going over to their cook site and hanging out the night before, cheering for each other at awards. It all goes hand in hand, and every one of them are willing to give back to the sport, which makes it great.
Exactly. That's what I said. Even though I met you one time in person,
Mm-hmm.
you told me if you need anything, let me know, and I try to answer the best I can. But that meant a lot to me because I'm like, he don't even know me, but he's willing to help me and get information if I need it, and that I want to thank you for doing that because that meant a lot to me. It might not have been much to you, but it meant a lot to me. I'm like that he willing to help me, and I'm just new into this, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So I definitely thank you for even saying that to me.
Oh man, you're quite welcome. Uh, new people. My wife's the quiet one. I'm the talker. So I always look forward to meeting somebody new. I'm not shy and reserved at all. And just getting to talk to everyone at those classes. And some of them I've talked to since, but when you brought that up, I didn't know if you were going to start competing. I didn't know if you were going to start doing videos or what at that point, but I've still been following you on Instagram and with that, but I look forward to seeing you out on a barbecue trail. And if you, like I said to you before, if you need any help, by all means, let me know. At the end of the day, you got to cook it, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
And that goes, and that too goes. I'm by no means no expert in competition, and I'm no expert on the YouTube content creator thing. A lot of what we've learned has been through trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always willing to help people. To me, you got to keep the sport alive. You got to keep giving back,
Exactly.
and that's what means the most. It's great to go there and win, but just having the camaraderie again with all the people and hanging out with your buddies, it makes it great even if you lose. It goes away like a bee sting. At least some of them do.
But definitely, we thank you for your recipes because you just freely giving recipes to people out there that there's a lot of people that don't know how to cook, and you're making it easy for them to learn and follow along and stuff like that. Or you can easily charge for it, but you freely giving all these videos away. You got a website with all the video recipes and stuff on it that people can freely access just because that's the type of person you are, just giver, and that's the type of people we need out there, just not hoarding information but freely giving it and inviting people to, hey, do this recipe I got, or you can change it up to do it the way you want. But
Yep.
I'm giving you the basis so you
Yeah,
can
you
get
got an
started.
idea.
Yeah, yeah. So definitely, we appreciate what
You
you're
know
doing.
that whole I kind of binged on How to Barbecue Malcolm Reed, and I think a lot of folks have. So a lot of what he does in his videos and how he does things, I respect how he does things. I respect where he's at and how long. I think he's been at it 10 years now. He's over 2 million subscribers or something. Puts out tremendous content. There's just a lot of people I still look up to. You're always chasing, right? You're always chasing somebody. You want to be that. And he was definitely one of them. And we've become ambassadors for him.
Oh, wow.
We got to meet him this year. This year we have Steak Princess. Has been really with us since the beginning. How to Barbecue Right, Killer Hogs, and Heath Riles. We got on this year on their influencer ambassador side. We use a lot of their products in both the video content and the competition side.
Okay,
So
that's excellent. That's excellent. I also noticed that your work is good and you providing content for those out there. So I definitely am happy for you that they're noticing your work, because those are some of the big dogs in the game. So it's a good feeling. Before we go, I got one quick game that I'm gonna play. I do this with every person that comes on. You know how in college basketball they got a tournament bracket. So I came up with a 16 meat bracket, that meats that you cook on the grill, and I just randomly mashed them up and just pick whatever one that you prefer to eat, and we'll see which one comes out the winner. Matchup number 1, beef ribs versus lamb.
Beef ribs.
Okay. Matchup 2, smoked ham, smoked turkey.
I've been on a turkey kick. Smoked turkey.
Okay. Burnt ends versus hot dog.
Oh man, I gotta go with burnt ends.
All right. Pork ribs versus steak.
Pork ribs.
Okay. Next matchup is smoked bologna versus brisket.
Brisket all day.
Okay.
I like smoked bologna, but it's not top of my list.
Bologna done won a few times. You'd be surprised. Barbecue shrimp versus sausage.
Sausage.
Okay. Pork chop versus smoked chicken.
Pork chop.
Okay. Pork belly versus hamburger.
That depends on how it's cooked. I tell you what, I'll go with hamburger because man, you'll see it in a couple weeks of video we just did.
All right. Beef rib versus turkey.
Man, I got to go with beef ribs.
Okay. Burnt ends versus pork rib.
Pork ribs.
Okay. Brisket versus sausage.
Brisket.
Okay. Pork chop versus hamburger.
Pork chop.
Okay. All right. Final 4. Beef rib versus pork rib.
Oh man. If I'm just going to be eating it, I want a beef rib.
Okay. And brisket versus pork chop.
Brisket.
All right. Finale. Beef rib versus brisket.
Oh, beef rib all day. I'll take a beef rib. I think it's like the dino ribs or even the beef, I guess they call them, they're like beef back ribs.
Mm-hmm.
And those are some of the best bite, I think, in barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
If they're cooked right.
Definitely. All right, Bob, your therapy session is over. If you have anything to promote, you can tell everybody your website also at this time.
Yeah, just go to Big Daddy's Barbecue Pit on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. But go out there and hit that and subscribe. Leave a comment. If you have any recommendations for a video or have a recipe you'd like us to try, put it out there. We'll give anything a shot once.
Just once. Don't
Just
be too
once.
crazy. But I definitely appreciate you coming on the show and sparing your time and stuff like that, and giving advice and telling your story to motivate and help people. So I definitely appreciate you coming on and everything that you're doing for barbecue also.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much that you've offered to have me on. And as I said before, if anything I can do to help you, you just let me know and I'll do everything I can.
All right, I appreciate it. And on
If you
that,
want to come, if you want to come see the comp side of a GBA event, you're welcome anytime.
okay, I definitely take you up on it. I definitely want to.
We got two that are that on the back half of the year will be up this way, a little closer.
Okay,
So,
okay, and y'all doing the one in Griffin?
yeah, we got so there's four left. There's Sylvester, Griffin, Perry, and then Canton.
Oh, Canton.
Yeah.
Okay. I
So
definitely might.
Canton's the closest one to us.
Yeah, because I work in Kennesaw, so.
Yep.
It's a
Yeah, you're
drive.
welcome anytime. Come see, get the experience of what it's like.
I
And
definitely appreciate it.
good deal.
All right, appreciate that, and we'll see everybody next episode. Y'all have a good night. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Barbecue Therapy Podcast. My name is Tavis Bryant. Please tune in to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and any streaming platform near you. Please pay the secretary on your way out, and we'll see you next episode.
Y'all go ham barbecue.